Brian, you're muted. No, I can't hear what you're saying. I can't.
Bottom
left.
Is this working now? You got me now?
There you are.
Yeah, I got it.
Oh, well, hello. You can hear me now, listeners.
Technology.
Technology. Wow. What a remarkable thing. We can use it to record a podcast where we get together and chat about the Australian children's television program Bluey. Let's do that right now.
Why not?
Hey, Frank.
Hey, Brenny, how are you, mate?
Yeah, doing good. I'm always doing good when I'm hanging out with you and Martin.
Hi, Brendan. Hi, Frank.
Hello. Let's do the thing that we do. Does this work?
You're still on mute.
I should be.
This episode of the Hammerbomb Project is called Paw Connection.
What I mean to say is welcome back. I love this show. I love recording the podcast with you guys. Let's pick an episode. What episode should we pick, Frank?
Let me spin the wheel here. This episode of Bluey is called Faceytalk.
This is a bonkers episode.
Really?
There is so much. There is so much uniquely excellent about this. This is like, oh man.
And that's in
I
only
can't
like
even-
1/4 of the screen.
Yeah.
And you're going to watch all the other 3/4.
There's episodes that resonate with parents for multiple reasons. This one absolutely resonated with many a parent
Oh man.
of the digital age. But before I get too carried away,
Yeah.
Marty, would you care to take us through the bare bones of this episode, please?
Well, this one's really just a morality tale about our increasingly mediated lifestyles and our capacity to build meaningful relationships, as discussed in Sherry Turkle's Alone Together.
I was going to bring that up if you didn't.
Sherry.
Yeah, Sherry. Good old Sherry. ST. Turkle. ST, as she initializes her name.
She's always doing stuff like that.
No, what's this an episode about? The girls, including Socks and Muffin, playing a game on a tablet with one another, which basically just seems to be a chat app that you can also do drawing in. But
Yeah.
the extreme fascination is around drawing. But we're just learning about hogging and giving turns, and that just ends up with a fantastic chase sequence with like some amazing alternate, like capturing all the different areas in like one like screen sheet Nintendo 64 GoldenEye sort of way. Just like watching all the different things happening in the different frames.
All this is a nerdy way to say Muffin runs around with a phone.
Muffin runs
Yeah.
around with a phone.
For the people who don't know what a GoldenEye is. And shame on you.
Shame on you. I can't count how many different ways in which this episode is a triumph. Like from a
4.
technical.
It's 4.
Okay.
He just said it so confidently. I believe him.
He did the fingers and everything.
Oh, because Brendan can only count to 3.
He's on fire.
What is happening? I give and I give. No.
And
but-
I take and I take.
Well, this episode gives and gives in so many ways. And let me count the ways. I only as far as 3, but beyond. More than 3, I'll say there are, which is all I can do. But apparently. But
Get on with it.
Yeah, because that's my fault. Martin's just sitting there steely-faced. Anyway, no, like when you think about it, right? The technicality of the visual element with 4 things happening at once, one thing happening from different angles, and it's all... They didn't just film this from different angles. It's all drawn. They had to plan. How did they plan this? Were there overhead sort of like dioramas in the storyboarding? So
Can
that
you
they
imagine
know-
being the animators getting like the animatics, like this hand drawn stuff, and you'd be like, we're gonna need to stay late tonight, guys, because this is. I do have it on good authority though. This is the first time that, as opposed to like the more traditional sort of animation techniques, this is actual like CG rendering to do some of the like the pixelation effects that you see, particularly around the edges of characters and stuff. So there is a bit of a blending of styles for this one, but what a payoff.
It's just bonkers. Like, it's not... The visual element is crazy, and I think about how did they did they work out the technicalities of that? The sound as well. Like there are parts where Stripe has run away from Socks on the laptop or the tablet and is chasing Muffin, but Muffin has run away with his phone, and you hear his voice get further away.
Yep.
And the acoustics of his voice as that would really happen are happening. And then when it jumps out of so we're sort of like jumping between two worlds here. We're in the kitchen with the kids, and then we're seeing what would be like on a observer's screen. And when it jumps out, you can hear what's happening there, but as though you were in the kitchen. Like just the actual sound
an acoustic
design.
triumph,
It's
the way they've done it.
That's it. That's bonkers. And then, but it's none of this is at the sacrifice of a really, really good story and a beautiful, beautifully told story about hogging. And whether that means you're a kid hogging the tablet or whether, you're hogging the parenting.
It's a Muffin-centric episode, but I think compared to some of the other ones, you come away... There's two things I came away with the first time I watch is you just go, oh, Muffin, you little so-and-so, But then you sit there and go, oh, Muffin, you bloody legend. Like, just the way...
Muffin has got it. Muffin is Muffin. That's what I'll say. And just some of the voice acting from the Muffin's voice actor in this, it's like they have struck gold with this kid. Holy moly!
It's when Stripe comes in and basically tries to he said, all right, I'm gonna put my phone on a timer. When the timer goes off, it's Socks' turn. Do you hear that, Muffin? Buh. That is her official response. It's not a yes, it's not a no. It's just buh.
I was waiting for that bit because I watched it earlier today, but you didn't have a chance to watch it today. So I got here to Frank's place and we watched it again. And in that bit, I was just kind of like looking because I know how much of a Muffin fan you are, and that is just buh.
We have to talk about the timer, though. Setting the timer on the phone.
Setting the timer on the phone. That's a big thing.
It is a big thing. Like, we've got to create... Like, we've talked about the last one before, I think. Like, the contract of the last one.
Yes.
You get one more, but unfortunately, that will be the final one.
Yep.
Yeah.
The timer on the phone is like, you get a certain amount more, but... at that point, it will become...
Yeah.
And then the arguing beyond of, I just have to finish this thing, or I just need to do this. Like, yeah. It just rings
Wasn't
so
part of the
true.
deal.
All those arguments you have to have about what needs to happen when, and what you just need to do before it's time to put your shoes on, or, eat breakfast, or those sorts of things.
Now, there's often been speculation within the Bluey community about... Stripe and Trixie and how they're perhaps a bit more financially well off than you would say, Bandit and Chili are. How massive is their house? P.S.
Yeah, I mean, they've had to stretch that a bit.
I know. And yes, you do allow a little bit of the whole, the Looney Tunes looping of a corridor type animation.
And what do the Simpsons call it? They always call it a flexible reality. Moe's Tavern is next to the church in one scene, and then in another one it's downtown. If it makes the joke work.
It did. Yeah. And they're able to sort of cleverly hide it with the pixelation and sort of the tearing of the image. Or all of a sudden the phone's pointed at the feet of Muffin as opposed to her face and these sorts of things.
Or like transitioning between like the up the staircase shot and the across. Yes. But it works because you're just used to it doing that, especially when you like change direction or those sorts of things where it's trying to catch up.
Yeah.
Because the diff of whatever it's trying to fill in on the screen has changed so much, so it doesn't scratch at all. You just kind of she's running around the house and the connection to the internet is getting a bit fuzzy.
Yeah, and all those look really good, like the effect of the glitchiness, and then the effect of when chaos is reigning, and she's obviously Muffin's obviously bumping buttons and things, and there's a background that keeps coming up, and she's sort of that faux green screen that all these chat apps do, as putting her in front of stuff that's obviously on the gallery of the phone, like pictures of Stripe and Trixie and that music.
Oh no, you guys are frozen. Oh, this is a bit meta. Sorry, you guys froze.
Did we?
Yeah. for like 20 seconds.
Oh, man.
So I
Is
just
that- is
completely
that the-
missed that. You're going to get a little random bit of audio of me
Are
going,
you joking?
No, I'm not at all.
Because, of
It
course,
was
Martin's
so
in
meta.
Sydney. Oh, man.
What?
Has that ever happened before?
No, first time.
Yeah. Listeners, you know this by now. Martin's in Sydney. Frank and I are in Adelaide, and we record this with Martin zooming in. And the connection here is really good.
Yeah.
We've never had a glitchy problem until we're talking about an episode about glitchy
About
problems.
glitches.
I'm just kind of offended that I just froze for 20 seconds and you didn't realise that
You didn't
You
freeze for
didn't.
us.
Oh.
That's the thing.
But
you were
couldn't
fine.
hear
and-
me. You couldn't hear what I was saying.
Oh, I was
Yeah,
talking.
That's when I dropped back
And when
in.
I'm talking, that's yeah.
Anyway.
I think we've already established that.
That's our meta moment of season whatever we're in.
Yeah, it's such a they bit off so much in this episode, and they chewed it all perfectly.
I think we have to just go back right to the start though, because
Yeah.
what's Bandit doing in that established?
Yeah,
time?
he's just
having his own little dance time.
just
having a great
dancing.
time to
Just
himself.
he's in his own world.
It's like got a little business he's doing. It's so funny.
And I love that choice of when they present Chili with what they want to do. They come in and they say, oh, can we Faceytalk Muffin and Socks?
Yeah.
Chili goes, and they go, please. And she just goes, yeah, all right, you can do. It's
Yeah.
kind of like, I don't know. It's this moment where she's like, oh, I'm not sure. And then they really want to.
Screen
And then
time.
she totally,
Yeah.
she totally realizes, no, that's okay. And they really want, but she kind of changes the tune. And you didn't, like, that's a choice that they made in the script.
Yeah.
And I just love that.
It's
That
just
makes
very
it
real.
little things like that make it real.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yep.
you know,
Yeah,
it's
they're a
exactly-
family. This is a real thing we're seeing.
Yeah, and I've done that so many times. You just go like, Naomi asks to watch TV, and Ali and I look at one another, and we're like, yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah, that's how you
alright,
do it.
It's
Yeah.
not 100% norm, but yeah, okay, you've had a big morning.
And I like that they want to do that, like, because they could just draw on a thing, and when they do connect, it starts with them just drawing. Though they're kids and they might not realize it, they do see value in doing it and in being connected with.
That's a good point. Yeah,
I like that.
Yeah.
I like that. They still feel like they're hanging out.
Yeah. The other thing that speaks to me is like they've found this fun, and as I sort of said at the start, like it just seems to be a talking app that just happens to have drawing. And it's like, we did get to do the drawing thing, which is so classic. Like so many things as a kid, you're just finding some weird part of something and then just fixating on that as the fun thing to do. Like playing a game where you get to color in the cars, or I remember like driving backwards around a NASCAR track because the sort of destruction physics were so interesting.
Yeah.
Like all
Yes.
those sorts of things. You just fixate in on one particular thing that really isn't meant to be the point.
yeah.
The other thing that just makes me
That's
think
great.
of like, this is something that I did as a kid is just like the parents' incapacity to remember the proper name of the thing.
Right.
It gets
Yeah.
referred to as the little facey thing, the silly stuff, the facey call. It's just like Pokemon's all over again, people.
Yes, 100%. There's such charm in the way that the older generation just cannot get with it.
It's like
Yep.
the Pokemons. I can't do the flossing. It's just so true. It's like, but in that way, it creates this, kid bubble of just like, well, we all know
Yeah.
what it's called.
This is
It's
our
a
thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the logo for Faceytalk is great.
Yes.
And the sound effects,
Little
is
dog
so
just going-
believable.
Oh, all the sound effects of connecting,
Yeah.
disconnecting, calling, they're all just bang on.
Yeah. Followed closely by the logo. The very last thing you see from Stripe's phone, the red, with the dog hand on it. I love that.
Disconnect, but it only lasts a second and then it just goes back to just 2 on the screen. 'Cause they're like, well, we're not getting them back.
And can we talk about the big reveal in this episode?
Ooh.
What, the monkey in the bikini?
Well, that's not where I was going
I
with
love
that.
I love the way it like introduces that. Like she just puts this filter. It makes him like one of the Chutney Chimp characters,
Yes,
I imagine.
yeah, yeah.
Is that what it
And
is?
then,
Okay.
but because
Initially it's close,
it's
yep.
just close, and you don't see. Then later on, when it comes back, he's got like a coconut
There
bikini
is-
top on as well.
There's this very brief moment when he steps out of shot. You see something, and you're like, wait a minute, what was that?
What was
And
that?
then,
Oh man, it's like they must have had a laundry list of all the tropes
All the
of
things.
these
Yeah.
calls, like the glitching, the
filters,
the filters, the little faux green screen
Yeah, the
backgrounds,
backdrops, yeah.
the drawing, the angles and all the
Yep.
sounds, and they hit everyone. Like
Yep.
if you'd given me a day to think of all the experiences I've had with these apps and what would be funny about them, I wouldn't have got as many into a 7-minute thing as they have.
But no, the reveal I was talking about
Ooh.
is Muffin's middle name.
Yes, of course.
Muffin Cupcake Healer.
And this is actually the episode just after Family Meeting, which is where where I believe it's revealed
Bluey's
middle name.
Yes.
Right.
Also starting with C. We've spoken to that before.
Yes, it was in the Pass the Parcel episode, which we
Yes.
can talk about because it was Bluey C Healer
Yes.
on the invitation.
That's right.
But I pointed out that
The
there has
actual
been an
name.
episode that
I know. I have done my homework. I'm aware of what
and
it
it's
is.
very nice. It's very nice.
It is a
what
nice
it is.
name. But we'll get to that when we get to the family meeting episode. It's been mentioned on this show before that if I had to align myself with one of the adults, I am probably Stripe.
Mm.
Oh, 100%.
And I'm-
I mean,
and I'm going to wear that, all right? Because I know deep within myself it's true.
Classic Stripe.
Classic Stripe.
because Ali's read a blog, hasn't she?
Oh, triggered. That cut me deep.
Should we go there? Should we go to the emotional hit of the episode? Is that where we're heading?
Oh, I was going to take a little bit of a detour
Okay, sure.
into a line of
We won't forget
Stripe that I intend to use when Jack is inevitably causing chaos and destruction. So I urgently advise you to stop what you're doing, which is just like the nicest way of not swearing at your
it's
kids.
after they've had a moment. He's had that moment with Trixie, so he's really really funny, but it's
telling.
also a really nice moment because he's really putting in the effort there to use the language that he thinks that they would agree on as a team. Yeah, it's such a beautiful episode for those reasons.
Just that shot when he's lying on the couch scrolling on his phone. I love any time the Bluey parents are scrolling on their phone because it's just so real.
It speaks to the time where this show was made, now.
Yeah, exactly. And the fact that the parents aren't just completely devoid of being addicted to their phones anyway.
Yeah, man, they're
totally
real.
are.
They're real
They really
characters.
are.
Everybody in this show isn't just there for what other characters are there for in other kids' shows. This isn't just any show that follows these rules and have them there as just tools, like utilitarian tools.
Yeah.
They are characters. They are beings, and they're all real.
Because, Mum sometimes just needs some time to go do a thing. That's
I've got to
Yes.
be somewhere right now.
I love that the reason, I've
There's
got
a
somewhere to
particular
be.
I've got somewhere to
I've
be.
got somewhere
That's
to
what
be.
he says. You just go do your thing.
No, that's okay. You do your thing. Because they're on the call, that's why they're using language like that. And of course, we find out later during the chase sequence that the place that she had to be was the bathroom. and Bandit's reaction, because he just happens to be looking over the kid's shoulders, he's like, whoa, okay, there it is. What does he say? There we go, or something.
And then he's like, how do you turn this off? And they're like, no, gets the screen from all the kids. And he's like, all right, well, can we at least mute it somehow?
I
Like,
love
that's
that
the
he's
compromise.
trying to anytime he tries to take a hard line to teach Muffin the lesson that she does really need to learn, he forgets that hard line affects these other kids that aren't as much
innocent.
his responsibility. So he's like, oh, okay, maybe not. Maybe not off. And he does it more than once.
Yeah, that's it. It's very much a pat in Pass the Parcel-esque
Yes.
sort of thing of like,
Yeah.
I'm an adult male. Oh, 4 little girls.
Oh, I'm not
okay,
cut out
I'm
for this.
cut out for this. Like, backpedal. Well, maybe not switch it off.
Could anyone break a 20?
Poor Trixie interrupted with her private toilet time on a Faceytalk call.
God.
But Stripe and Trixie, that moment that they have, everything about it is beautiful because, you could tell when she comes in and say, oh, I should really parent here, and because Stripe is doom scrolling on the couch, and he's like, no, I can do it, and you can tell that she's kind of a bit standoffish, and maybe that's just like Trixie's personality. She likes to know that she's doing the thing, and she wants to build trust.
She didn't
with
seem
her
confident.
But she was like, oh, is this my place to do it. So she wasn't fully confident. And then later she comes in and is just like, you need to, parent. He goes, well, I am. And she goes, yeah, but you're not,
You're not doing it right.
But you're not doing it right. You've got to do it
That's the way
right.
I
And
do
he
it.
says, but this is how I do it.
Yeah.
And he says, time out. We don't do time out anymore. Since when? I've read a blog. That's my sister's. That's Erin's favorite bit. But it's so real. And then he says, I feel like you're hogging the parenting.
Mm.
But the beautiful thing about that is, I mean, we've all been there. We've all been in a situation where we're like, oh, we're privy to a conversation that it would be private in a perfect world.
Yes.
And Bandit's there just going,
Mute,
kids,
mute,
can you mute? And all the sounds and all the things that happen where they're trying to mute it are really funny. And then he ends up muting it. It's like, maybe take it off mute after they've had their conversation. And Bandit's like really understanding there. And really, it's really sweet that he's like, oh, this is their time.
Yep.
And then, the slow zoom in on that corner of the screen where they're just having, and the music is beautiful and the kids are still drawing and doing their thing. It's all it needs, just the visual. It's just such a beautiful cinematic moment.
Yeah, and you didn't need to hear the rest of that conversation.
Absolutely
And the
not.
moment where they're like, I'm not sure who reaches out, but they hold hands to say,
and they have a hug and.
God, it gets you.
It's genius.
And the other line that's in there, I think the only one you didn't mention, Brandon, was just like, if we're not consistent, the kids get confused, which is like a really good point. And, there's a lot of stuff based around that. You're trying to use consistent sort of storytelling. But having that as that's why she feels like she needs to do it all, because otherwise they don't get consistency. Like that, so.
And they're both so human in that. Like, I don't blame Trixie for that. I don't blame Stripe for that. They're working it out together. And by the end of the episode, they really team up. Yep. and it's like figuratively and literally. It's just like, Muffin, maybe you should just look behind you. Why?
The defeat in Muffin's voice when she knows she's gone too far, when the phone goes over the edge, takes a dive into the pool, and just everybody freezes. And Socks, meanwhile, this entire time is just drawing his lovely little garden. Beautiful. And then it's just like, Muffin,
They both say together, Stripe and Trixie together say time out.
And she goes,
that's so good.
Okay. Like she knows there's no protest. There's no but she's just like, yep, I'm done here.
Muffin is not I'd say Muffin is not a bad kid. She just knows where the boundaries are.
That's right.
But the moment where it's so obvious that, you look, I've gone far enough.
Yeah.
She's like, okay. She walks off. And, Socks is coming a long way. Socks is talking up a storm.
There's a few words in this one.
Socks is Socks says Muffin. It's a really sweet moment when the phone cuts out. And it goes and Socks says finished, and they say, "Oh,
wow, Socks, that looks great.
That looks really great. Thank you." And that's really sweet. And then I think Bingo says, "Can I have a turn?"
It's my turn. Yeah.
No, I don't want to hog because we know what happens when you hog. And I don't know if you noticed, but at that moment, just before the credits roll, they said, "We know what happens when you hog." You see Trixie's hand reach across because they're in the background, overlooking the
pool,
the pool, and Trixie's hand just reaches out and puts on Stripe's hand, and they just have this one more moment of not hogging.
If it didn't nearly make me cry the first time, far out.
Man, it's all there. It's just there and more. And I'm gonna watch this again and rue myself that I didn't mention all the other stuff that I'm gonna notice.
Gosh.
Because there's so much going on. There's some stuff that goes in and around the chase sequence. I love how it starts because Stripe pats himself down. He's like, "Where's my phone?
My phone.
He's got my phone."
And it just
He's like patting down his body. We've already talked to the two bandits about where they keep their phones. In their pants.
In their pockets.
That's great. And then running around. I love all the little bits of the house you get to see. The little decor.
So exciting.
I think probably actually might even be my favorite line of or line delivery is like, "Tell me if he's coming." Pans around the corner. You get that shot of, the family photo with the incense sticks and the candles.
Oh, and that family photo, was anybody able to really do a deep dive on that family photo? Because it looks like an homage to something. I'm ashamed to say
I think it just looks like one of those classic family photos you go and get done.
Yeah.
But Bluey's like, it's clear, but should we really?
Yeah.
The way she says, it's clear.
Yes.
It's just almost very military. And
Yeah, because they're not sure about this,
Yeah.
Bluey and Bingo. They're like,
aiding,
you should just
and abetting a criminal.
They say flat out, you should give him back his phone. But they also, it is really exciting. They're like, look, we're not going to leave you in the lurch. It's clear, yeah, but they're trying to play both games.
And Stripe trips over the cat squad bike.
Nice.
When he runs up the thing. Oh. Yeah, and there's some great you get to see little bits of decor of the bedroom as well, like the bed sheets, the cat squad.
Oh,
yes, I saw that.
Things in there like tiaras and stuff.
When she's actually like at the door frame and sticking the phone out into the hallway.
Yeah.
The shot, but you can see Cat Squad stickers
it's like
on the thing behind her.
So good. The reason I thought that family portrait might be a thing is because the expressions on Trixie's and Stripe's face, it looks like it might be alluding to something other than a happy family photo. I thought it might have been a reference to a thing, but hey, let us know, listeners.
Yeah.
But I do love. She goes under the bed. Hey, that's my ukulele. You lended it to me. Yeah, but that was ages ago. I'm still using it. It's just under the bed. I think that you see that ukulele in the first episode of Bedroom, actually.
Yes, correct.
But I love how Stripe's trying to like flush her out and sees all right, you're under a bed. Oh, I can't tell which one. Well, there's only so many beds in this house, kid. Such a great line. He's off to look under the beds. And
I love when he has to run back downstairs and lean into the camera to say, okay, Muffin, you're going to come out right now. Because he can't find where she is.
I alluded to it before when I was saying how much of a visual triumph this episode is, but all the different angles, like from the phone and the tablet, like when you see Muffin kind of going, oh, I've got it. But you see the side of her side profile from the phone. But you see the wide shot on the thing, and everything syncs up just perfectly and so excitingly, and you're just trying to follow it. It's such an exciting episode to watch.
Like that's the thing that always I made mention of it before, but like playing a split screen game.
Yes.
Like when you can see two things in like the frame at the same time. And
I hadn't thought of it like that. The moment you said GoldenEye 64, I used to love watching people play multiplayer on that because you'd see them coming around the corner and you'd
like, oh no!
You'd look over to their screen going, oh, they're there, so I'm going to come out there now. Just that, because our minds were, our animal brains were not built to instinctively envision a scene from more than one angle, and we've kind of learnt that from like experience of what things look like from different things. So seeing it at the same time, I still feel like really pretty caveman when I get surprised by that stuff because I just can't. My brain's not built. But when you see it done so well, so good.
One of the things that this episode also makes me think about is just the sort of things that are dealt with in Bluey. Like this one's about hogging. We have other episodes about dobbing. We were just talking about Postman, which was about having arguments or having squabbling. So all these sorts of like things that you deal with at that kid's stage and that you're trying to unpack, but also have relevance to adults and things like that. So it's just, it's interesting. Yeah. It takes you back when people are talking about dobbing and that you have to dob or not dob, or that you have to not be hogging something. You're going to be taking turns. Taking turns is a big one. I'll have a turn, you'll have a turn. This is like
teasing,
all those sorts of things. Yeah, teasing. Yeah, that sort of stuff.
And I do
love lots of words that end in ing.
And I do love that doing words. A verb is a doing word. I do love how it kind of explores what hogging is for kids and adults, and I suppose that's a big part of what Bluey the show is about for me, because I enjoy it because it's for me, but it's also for kids.
Yep.
And
wait, what?
And why not? Why not explore
understand
things
all the layers? You don't appreciate
all the Indiana Jones references.
Nah, I love when the show does that. Like because who was it who said, Martin, I think in all of us is the heart of a child, but just somewhere along the line, we get convinced that we have to act like adults.
Mm-hmm.
You know who that was?
Jim Henson.
It wasn't Jim Henson. Oh, do you have a guess?
No, I don't actually.
It was Shigeru Miyamoto who said that.
Right, there you go.
Nice.
Okay.
Yeah, I've just been frigging
Sitting on that for a while.
I've just been playing Ocarina of Time lately, and there's these really great YouTube videos about just like video game history, and so I'm in deep at the moment. I haven't read your thesis yet, but I've got it on my phone ready to read. Gonna read.
I sent it to Brennan because he was telling me he was playing a lot.
Yeah.
I'm
Martin
just like-
is a video game doctor, by the way, if we haven't said it enough, everybody.
If I haven't ever tortured you before with this,
Yeah.
maybe this is the only time in your life you'll ever actually be interested enough to read
Well, you
this.
see,
So
they've announced
here it is.
the new Zelda game.
Yeah. Oh my God, that video is. I mean, this is dating this episode, but they've just dropped the Tears of
Twilight
the Kingdom
Princess.
trailer.
Oh man, I'm so excited about
And to all the people who don't know video games, they're just like, wrap it up, boys.
Yeah. No, speaking of wrapping it up, I should wrap back to the reason I brought up Shigeru Miyamoto, the creator of Legend of Zelda and the Mario universe. I guess that was just my way of saying I love it when anything proves that there are connections between childhood and adulthood, and I'm allowed to be the giant child that I am, because hogging is something you should learn as a kid, something that's relevant for adulthood and parenting and all those things I know about being a parent and not a parent,
There
not
it
a
is.
dad. Ding. But yeah, no, it's nice to see that this show keeps exploring that. Like, these are concepts that are important for kids, but they're still as relevant today. And I love that juxtaposition. And
You gonna let the rest of us talk, Brendan, or you just gonna?
no.
No, I don't think I would.
Sorry.
When has any of my behavior suggested that I would answer yes to that question?
There's hogging going on right now.
That's what I was getting at.
I talk about the value of the lesson. I never mentioned that I learned it.
Okay, there we
I
go.
didn't say I would apply it to my life.
Well, speaking about technology and Faceytalk and phones and things, I'm going to get my phone out right now because, we'll wrap this up in a second and I'll head home, Frank.
Sure.
So I've got I'm going to turn my electric blanket on.
Oh, look at
I got
this
one of those.
guy.
I got one of those Wi-Fi power outlets.
Yep.
And it's on now. I just turned it on. So
your
'cause
bed's going to be toasty
so
warm
I'm
when you
gonna
get there.
get in the car and take me about 15 minutes to drive home, and it'll be an old call straight into bed, no mucking about. I was so excited. That's like one of the first times I've done
Brendan
it.
is living his best life.
Yeah.
Everyone.
Living his best
This
life.
is
And I'll be sleeping my best sleep in my nice toasty warm bed. But I wanted to share that with the listeners.
You wanted
I'll
to boast
tell
that?
anyone
Yeah,
who'll
sure.
listen that
it's
I can
an
turn on my
episode
electric
about
blanket.
technology. It's an
Yeah,
episode about,
I just hope it works.
Well, you know where you can get those fire extinguishers you'll need to put out Brendan's house that has burst into flame because he left the thing on.
I do worry. I mean, like, it took me a long time to actually feel comfortable with doing something like this. I'm only doing it now because I know, like, there's a timer function, but I'm still a bit too nervous to.
When the
to do
timer
that
gets to the end, does it say, I urgently advise you to stop?
I wonder if it sends you a notification if the PowerPoint melts. That would be a good feature to have, I
You
think.
just get a notification just with a little flame symbol, and you're like, uh-oh, I need to get home now.
But I do know, Martin, where you can get those fire extinguishers that I hope I don't need. And listeners, you can join us there anytime you like. Thank you for joining us here, but join us again down aisle 300.
Oh, sorry, that was the lag. Left of the fake grass.
And if you hit a flamingo, you've gone too far.
Created and produced by Frank, Brendan and Marty. You can follow the Hammerbond Project on facebook.com/HammerbondProj, at HammerbondProj on Twitter, or Hammerbond_project on Instagram. Theme featuring Nibblings, Kaylee, Jade, Ashley and Reese, and PA announcements by brother-in-law, me, Josh. Thanks for listening, and remember to get down to Hammerbond for cheap shovels.